Welcome to LWM channel. Subscribe to our LWM channel to learn computer networking. From now on, new videos will be uploaded regularly on our channel. Today's agenda. What is OSI model? History of OSI model. Why use the OSI model? What are OSI model layers and their description? What is OSI model? The full form of the OSI model is the Open System Interconnection model. The OSI model indicates how communication will develop between computers and other networking devices. It is a reference model, i.e., it can only be used as a reference, there is no real use. In the 1970s, the International Organization for Standards, ISO, came forward to standardize network communication, with the goal being to have a common protocol, regardless of the underlying hardware or manufacturer, dividing network communication into 7 levels. The history of the OSI model. The development of the OSI model dates back to the late 1970s when it began to support the emergence of various computer networking methods, which were competing for application in the world's larger national networking efforts. In the 1980s, the model was developed by the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, became a functional product of the Open Systems Interconnection group. While trying to provide a comprehensive description on this in networking, the OSI model failed to achieve reliance during the design of the Internet, which in turn is reflected in the less instructional Internet Protocol Suite sponsored under the supervision of the Internet Engineering Task Force. From 1973 to 1975, experimental packet-switched systems in the United Kingdom felt the need to define high-level protocols. As early as 1977, the ISO began a program to develop common features and methods of networking. He later devised a similar process at the International Telegraph and Telephone Advisory Committee. As a result, both companies have created documents that define similar networking models. The OSI model was first defined in Washington, D.C. in a provisional form in February 1978 by Hubert Zimmermann of France, and the revised but still drafted standard was published by ISO in 1988. Why use the OSI model? When it comes to safety, practitioners must keep a few things in mind. For example, for a stack of networks, OSI, Open System Interconnection, provides the necessary principles for managing both the technical aspects and risks of architecture. Despite the fact that data security has changed to cloud-first environments, the OSI model remains relevant. The reasons why the OSI model remains relevant are as follows. Our technology helps detect threats across the stack. This makes it possible to have a data-centric security posture. Enables cloud adoption through a security-first approach, as well as protecting cloud infrastructure. OSI model stand for Open System Interconnection. In the 1970s, the International Standard Organization, ISO, came forward to standardize network communication. The goal was to have a common protocol irrespective of the underlying hardware or manufacturer. Divides network communication into 7 layers. It is a purely logical concept. The layer does not directly represent network components. Physical layer. Data at this layer is in the form of bits zeros and ones. Defines the electrical and physical specifications of hardware used to communicate over the network. Also defines standards for the type of communication. Simples one way only. Half duplex two way, but only send or receive at a time. Full duplex two way, send or receive at the same time. Data link layer. Bits received from the physical layer are transformed into frames. Is responsible for communication over the LAN or the same network. Also responsible for physical addressing, also known as the MAC address. Other functions include flow control and error control. The protocol includes Ethernet, frame relay, token ring, fiber distributed data interface, FDDI. The device includes bridges and layer 2 switches. Network layer. Frames received from the data link layer are transformed into packets. Responsible for logical addressing of devices. This is done using IP address. Protocol at this layer include IPv4, IPv6, ICMP, IPsec, etc. Devices include layer 3 switches, routers, firewalls, etc. Transport layer. Packets received from the network layer are transformed into the segment. Responsible for providing a transport protocol such as TCP and UDP. Also responsible for process separation. Session layer. Responsible for establishing and controlling sessions between the sender and receiver. Also responsible for synchronizing the session using the sequence number. Protocols include NetBIOS, SOCKS, and Network File System, NFS. Presentation layer. Responsible for presenting or formatting the data received in generic format from the lower layers into well-known formats. For example, JPEG, MPEG. Also responsible for compression and encryption. Application layer. Provides the interface between the application and the underlying network. Not the same as the applications used on the computer. Provide the services or protocols that allow applications to communicate with the network stack. Thank you very much for watching carefully.